You guys, it's been so long. I don't even know how to do this anymore. But hey, this is my OC slash player character, Luca, from my first Fabula Ultima game. He's so cute, the cutest boy in the world, and I love him. If you don't know what Fabula Ultima is, it's kind of like D&D, but if it was a JRPG or based off a JRPG, it's really fun, and if you ever have the chance to play it, I would really recommend it. The campaign for him is actually still running, and I'm always really excited to play it every session, even if I'm like a little sleep deprived. Like, my sleep schedule is kind of fucked, but like it's fine. I've managed to keep it together for every session so far. I haven't overslept yet. It's bound to happen one of these days. I'm really hoping I can keep my streak running. It's been like maybe like 6 or 7 sessions now, and I haven't overslept. I have missed like one session, but every other session I've managed to make it, and it's been great. I'm probably not going to talk too much about the game since it's not just about myself and I don't want to like overshare too much online. But yeah, it's been like 2 years now, guys. And it's been like 2 years now, and it's been so long that I don't even know what happened anymore. Probably school, if I had to guess. But it's fine because you know what? I've graduated. I'm out of school now. But it's kind of been a while, so I'm not gonna hype it up too much. But it's still a good thing. I'm still happy about it. School wasn't miserable or anything, but it's nice to not have to worry about it anymore. Uh, I might go back to school one day eventually, but it's not, gonna be anytime soon. So freedom, at least until I get like, a 9 to 5. But that's for future me to worry about. That's not right now. Mm, so yeah, I guess I should finally start talking about the drawing. So obviously, you guys know that this is about Luca. Um, but for I've been having so much fun in the game that I've just been wanting to draw him all the time, and I wanted to do like a little sketchbook sheet of just him doing all the things he liked, like all of his hobbies, just a sheet about him. Kind of like I would do when I used to draw in my sketchbook. So, one of the like head canons, is it a head canon if I come up with it? I don't really know, but one of the head canons I've come up for him is that he really likes ice skating. When I drew this, I've been sitting on this recording for a while, but when I drew this, the ice skating Olympics were still happening. Uh and I was watching it. So, and I was having a lot of fun. So I kind of wanted Luca to also really like ice skating. Also, when so basically kind of getting off track here. Uh Luca, this is actually isn't his first iteration. I've played him like 3 separate times in 3 separate games, and the first time I played him was in my MHA game, uh, where he was a she, and his quirk was or her quirk was a damselfly, and so she was a dex based build. So far, like every single Luca has been dex based or like the dex based equivalent. So really sporty, sort of thing. Not super strong, but uh it's fine. Actually, this Luca has the highest strength, except it's Fabula Ultima, so it's like power maybe? I forgot what the stat's called. It's not my main stat for Luca. His best stat is dexterity. But yeah. So why was I talking about that? I don't remember. Oh yeah, well he's because he's like dex based and strength based and kind of athletic. I imagine that he would also maybe be good at ice skating. Not nothing on a professional Olympic level, but he could probably do a Lutz. Uh, But yeah, so this is just me drawing him ice skating for the first time. Or not the first time, but me drawing him ice skating for the first time. Not necessarily his first time, just my first time drawing it. I don't need to over explain myself, but I am. But yeah. I did, this drawing actually overall went pretty well, I think. I feel like it's a little stiff, but like all things considered, really, really well. So this is the first drawing I did for Luca on this page, but the one where it's him on the skateboard, I actually drew that first, but it was on a separate canvas, and I was just kind of like doodling Luca for the fun of it, like I didn't really have like a plan or anything, and that's why I didn't record it. I'm really sad that I didn't record it because I'm really, really proud of it, but it's all right, it happens. I don't always plan to record things. I didn't record things for a long time, so I mean that's kind of obvious by the 2 years, but it's fine, it's fine. You guys didn't miss me or anything. Nobody. It's fine. So I actually his sweater, his sweater vest that he's wearing, I actually don't really know what it's called, but it's really blank in the center. And at first I was like, oh, I'll draw a heart because his last name's Hart. His name's Luca Hart. It'll be so cute, but I couldn't make it like look right. But then after that, I didn't really know what to put. I struggled really hard with his clothes. Even like now, I think his vest looks kind of weird, but I felt like too far gone to just have it be like the long sleeve underneath. He's wearing a lot of layers, but it's cold in the ice rink and stuff. But yeah, I cycle through a lot of stuff. I also really struggled with like the fabric around his wrists on the sleeves. Connecting it to his hands was really hard and making it really difficult for me. I actually had somebody really nice. A friend helped me use them as a reference for the drawing. They like took pictures of them in their long sleeves, and it was very helpful and it was very nice of them. And it's the only reason that his sleeves look as good as they do in the end is because of them. I am also really proud of his leg warmers. I think they're so goddamn cute. So, like, for his clothes and stuff, I took a lot of inspiration from kidcore or like the early 2000s aesthetic. I'm really bad with like naming aesthetics and clothes and fashion and whatnot, so I kind of just look around on Pinterest until I kind of get what I'm going for. It's one of the things where I'd really like to get better at and like know the names of things so I don't so it's just easier to research and find references for, but I'm not there yet. We're not there yet. But the closest thing I can think of is like kind of like kidcore. Um but also early 2000s. Really nostalgic. At least nostalgic for me. I guess, cuz things can be nostalgic for different people. Different things can be nostalgic for different people. That's what I mean. Uh, I'm actually pretty proud of his face. I kind of struggled with his nose, but I think in the end it turned out really well. Also, this hand. This hand looks really, really good. I like the way that, like, his thumb is in, like, shadow and stuff. And the way, like, his knuckles are connected to his fingers, and it's really pretty and satisfying to look at. Also, can we talk about this pen or this pencil? So I think I found it on Pinterest, maybe. It might have been YouTube. Either Pinterest or YouTube, where I learned of this trick where you can have, I think, yeah. So basically you want to get like this dull blue or darker blue color as your pen color, and then on the layer on top you can set it to like this dusty sort of pink color. And I think it's one of the layer modes. I think it maybe overlay or pen light or something like that. And if you set it to that, you get this really pretty dual colored pencil, and I used it for the entire sketchbook. And it's so goddamn pretty. I was obsessed for the longest time. The only bad thing is uh about this is that when you finally start coloring, it kind of fucks everything up. So it really only works if you're doing it as a sketch, I think, because if you try to color over it later, everything will kind of have like that pink hue, which I guess could work really well to like kind of like um what is it, harmonize your color palette, but it's not really something I like look for, or I haven't been able to make work for when I color. So that is the downside. So I learned that. I was thinking about coloring some of the drawings in these because they were really really good. But because of the way the line art worked, I couldn't keep like the blue and pink. So I had to like change the line art to just be one flat color with no like fancy overlays and stuff, which is really sad. I'm really sad that that worked out that way, but it is what it is. It's still really pretty on its own, not gonna lie, and it has its own charm, you know? His hair is really hard, but also like really fun to draw. I haven't been able to make it consistent. I've drawn it differently every time, I feel like. I feel like it never looks the same, and that's kind of tough, but also it's not that big of a deal, I feel like. I feel like, it's fine if his hair looks a little different every time. And besides, I can justify it by just saying that, he just has really crazy bedhead and his hair is just so fluffy and crazy that he can't really like manage it and keep the style consistent. And you know what, in real life nobody's hair, most people's hair, some people's hair is never gonna be exactly the same day to day, uh so yeah, it's fine. And honestly, I think uh, almost all of his hair in every single one of the drawings I've done looks good. And, I think he always looks like Luca at the end of the day. To me, he's distinguishable from all of the other characters that I have, and that's good enough for me. Maybe one day I'll be able to like make his hair look more consistent. But it's not the biggest deal to me at the right now. I'm still really proud of it overall. And I like it. Also, his eyes right here is so goddamn pretty. Like, just the way he's looking. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain, like, what, like, his expression is right now, but, you can see what I'm seeing, right? Zooming in, it's kind of embarrassing a little bit. I mean, hair's kind of like the most important part, right? But, like, I don't know if I needed to take this long, you know? Uh, But he still looks really good. I really, really love his face. It's just I don't really like the more I kind of look at him, the more I wish I could go back. I can go back and work on the drawing some more, but like I don't think it's worth it. But I wish I could edit his pose a little bit and like his sweater and stuff, and I don't know, something just looks a little off. It's a little bit too stiff, and I don't know, I just wish I could change it. I feel like I could make it better now, but I don't know if it's worth it. Also, you may have realized it by now, or maybe you haven't, and I might ruin this for you once I mention it and you won't be able to unsee it. But his pose right now kind of looks like it's inspired by like that one painting where it's like the two people reaching out from like the cloud and the sky, or I don't, or rock. I don't know what he was, but two men, reaching out their hands. I don't know what the painting is called, but that's what it looks like. And is it the Adam painting? But it looks like that, and I'm just like, no, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I had in mind. But that's kind of where we're at, and I'm like, I can't be bothered to change it anymore. I've already worked so long on this. Oh my god. Okay, so I love this drawing. This drawing is definitely like this one and the skateboard drawing. I think this one's the cutest, and then my second favorite drawing is the one with the skateboard that I didn't even manage to record, which is fine. It's fine. Um, but this is Luca sleeping. I don't know what it is about me, but I love drawing my characters sleeping. I think they're just so cute. They can like, I don't know, they're just so adorable. I love them. But this is him sleeping. I struggled really, really badly on his face. I didn't know how to make it look like him and then make him look like what I had in my head. And I don't know, I just really had a hard time making him look like Luca to me, but like sleeping. But I'm really happy with where it ended up. Also, you might have gotten a jump scare. I was in like Clip Studio Paint light mode, and now I'm in Clip Studio Paint dark mode. So I this might kill some of you guys or has been killing you guys, but I use light mode because sometimes dark mode is too dark, but sometimes light mode is too light. So then I switch to dark mode. I kind of switch between both. I still would say that like I'm mainly a light user. Well, okay, maybe not for Clip Studio. On everything else, on every other browser, I usually use light mode. But for Clip Studio Paint specifically, I'll like switch between both and slightly lean more dark mode. But I feel like that's because usually I'm like drawing in the dark. And I don't know. Because for me, it also depends on like if I'm coloring or not. Sometimes the way the vibe is the way the drawing is, like color palette wise, it works better for me to have a dark background, or it works better for me to have like a white background. Like when I'm using like a lot of pastels and stuff, and one of the drawings I'm doing for a friend, for their One Piece game, uh, like One Piece D&D, the drawing has a lot of like bright pastel colors, and so like I can only use light mode when I'm working on that, because if I use dark mode, it's just too dark. It fucks with me. And I don't like grayscale. Like a lot of advice or like tips I see is to like use like kind of like off-white, like a gray color. I don't like that either. I'm just trying to do what I can tolerate, because drawing takes forever. And out here doing my best, and either white or black is kind of what I can tolerate, and I just switch between the two. I Is there a way to get like any other colors? Could I make my Clip Studio Paint pink, or like purple, or like blue? Like, is there a way? Because I would love to do that, but I don't think that that's possible. So I just flip between each end of grayscale, and that's kind of been how it's going. Uh isn't his hair so cute? I love his eyelashes. I think those stay the same. I think I'll fuck around with like his jawline and his mouth and his nose and stuff. But everything else I think is locked in. Besides, maybe not his eyebrows. But he's so cute. And can you guys tell that there's supposed to be like a cat there? I struggle with this cat. I'm not really good at drawing animals because I don't draw animals. So I have no practice at all. And sometimes that's just how it is, but I'm proud of this one. 2 years ago, I made a video where I also drew a cat, and I was really proud of it then. And I still am proud of it, but um I just haven't been drawing any more creatures since then, so I haven't got it any better. But like, it'd be like that sometime. Maybe 2 years from now, again, I'll come back and make another video, and I'll be better, or I might not be. We'll see. Or maybe I'll come back like, a week from now. I don't know. Honestly, drawing isn't the hard part. It's kind of like talking over the video that's the hard part. Maybe I should just do speed paints. But like my favorite art videos have always been ones where the person who drew it are like kind of like just talking as well. Uh while I'm like watching their speed paint or whatever they're doing. I just like listening about people's drawing process, hobbies and interests, or whatever things that they're just doing. So I really want to make videos like that, but talking to myself is really hard. But yeah, he's so cute. Wow, I'm surprised that I got his hair like not done, but like I finished it out as much as I did. I thought I would procrastinate on it more, because I remember finding it really hard. But that might have been the sketch, because the sketch was kind of like already there. I also had a lot of a really I'm not doing it right now, but I also had a really hard time with like his shoulder and his clothes. Just everything about this drawing actually, not gonna lie, was kind of hard, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's like my favorite drawing and he's so cute. Oh, his little nose is really hard to look at, but it's okay. Oh, and now we're moving on. Yeah, there's a lot of like cutting and jumping around because sometimes I would like really have a hard time and then I just didn't want to record anymore because then like the video would be like, you know, 2 hours long and I'm just like, I can't sit here and edit that. So sometimes I just need to stop recording and just kind of figure things out. Um, Especially since this was like a sketchbook page, having the camera on or like knowing that I'm recording is sometimes like a lot of pressure. Sometimes I just forget it's there. Other times I'm just so aware that like everything I'm doing is on camera and it's really tough. But with the sketchbook page, there's a lot of like awkward empty spaces, so I just started drawing like little chibi versions of Luca. And I think this was the first one that I did. And I just kind of wanted to get it out of the way because I, told myself it would be easy. He's cute and small. And some of the other drawings in this, I actually really struggled. There's one later that I think you kind of saw a little bit maybe, but he's holding a camera. The one where he's holding a camera was a pain in, like, it was such a pain. It was so hard. I restarted it so many times and it was just bad. I don't know what was wrong. Even now I'm like maybe I could like, if I just start from scratch and redraw it from the start, it could probably be better than like what it was, but it was so hard. But it's really tough because it's not like I'm doing this drawing for like anybody. It's just for myself, and there's so many things I feel like I should be doing instead that it's really hard for me to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna take the time to um redo it for the sake of it, even though like, because like it's not like the drawing with the camera is like genuinely bad. Like it's good, but I just feel like I could do better. But I'm like, is it worth taking the time to do that when I could like be doing something else, Um like I could do like another drawing or work on something else. I feel like I've spent the time I've spent on this sketchbook page is so long. And I'm just kind of sick of it. And I'm like, good enough is good enough. And also I'm like such a perfectionist, so it's tough. I really like the way that the pen color turns like more pink or more like blue gray depending on like the pressure or like the opacity of the brush. It just seems like a lot less, more dimensional. Dimensional? I think that's what I'm trying to say. I just spent like maybe 10 minutes trying to explain the setting for the campaign and failed miserably. So I'm just not gonna bother today. I think that's another day, that's another video if it ever happens. So I'm just gonna talk about like Luca specifically, and I can't explain the setting. I'm sorry. I guess I have to write it down and make a script. But uh so Luca is kind of a magical girl, uh with extra steps, and it's more so based on like constellations, or it's based off of magical girls based on like constellations that are like made up. And his constellation is the dragon, which is why you see that he has little horns here. I kind of wanted to base him. I'm not sure what they're called, but uh you know if you like look at like, Chinese gotcha games, I feel um like Arknight or Wuthering Waves or Honkai Star Rail, and they have like kind of like the dragon characters with the horns and the tails and the really long, like Chinese dragons is kind of the vibe I was going for when I made like his transformation, magical girl adjacent transformation. And so he has like I love the way that they have their little horns and stuff. I think it's really, really cute. And I kind of based it off of that sort of thing. as a base, ignoring, his constellation transformations and whatnot, he has two of them. He has kind of like the half him, half constellation, and then he has like full constellation, which is more of like a kaiju. He hasn't unlocked that yet. Uh, but he's unlocked his second transformation. That's kind of the first thing he did. Like on his like second or third day of school. To kind of bring all of the magical girl adjacent people together, they are sent to a magical academy that they have to go to. As an excuse for them to gather up together and be trained. They have like this attendance or acceptance thing in name only. I mean, they can still go to classes if they have like the free time to do so, but they're like the school doesn't care if they ever show up to class or actually like pass or anything. They're just there to receive training so that they can, go fight the bad guys. I guess even though like the bad guys in this game are kind of complicated, it's more like fight the corruption. Lucian? I don't really words are hard. But yeah, that's what his second form is based off of. But his normal personhood race thing is he was just a normal human. I've since retconned it. But when I was, making this drawing, I was like, oh, he's just a human boy. But I've kind of found that I really like drawing the they thems. I really like having characters who can either look really feminine or kind of more masculine. It's really fun for me to just kind of have a character who could do it all. Uh, and with that in mind, I have since turned Luca from kind of just being a normal human to instead being a shapeshifter. So if I want to draw him being more femme or more mask or taller or shorter with different features, I can. It's just canon now, and that's way more fun for me. I really love Luca's current design, but with all of the kind of separate universes I've made or different games I've had for Luca, he's looked kind of different every time. Being a girl, having shorter or longer hair, being like different body shapes and all these other things. And I really love that about playing them. The only thing that really stays the same about Luca is kind of like their personality, and like the belief that, the world can be a good place. And Luca's character is definitely like an optimist. Like they want to believe in good and that they can ultimately they just want to leave the world in a better place than they found it. And that's just kind of Luca at their core. They want to make friends, they want to make connections, they want to do all these things. They're so hopeful. Uh, but their appearance has just kind of always been all over the place. They're very fluid and stuff like that. And I loved this Luca, but I kind of just wanted to just be free to do all of these other variations of Luca without it necessarily having to be a different game every time. And so talking with the GM, I was like, can they just be a shapeshifter? And they were like, hell yeah. And I was like, yes. So I'm so excited I'm even more excited to draw Luca in the future because they could just be anything. And I could just be like, it's Luca. Because it is. And it's nice. And I have very fun with that. Look at how cute this drawing is, though. Okay, enough about Luca and who they are. Look at his face. I'm actually really proud of this face. He looks so adorable. I just didn't know how to attach like this face and this neck and like this whole top half to like the rest of his body. That was really, really hard. But like this right now looks really good. Like if I could just, keep this as like a headshot, it's perfect. But the trouble came when I had to do everything else. But it kind of be like that sometimes. So for more of his like backstory and whatnot, he is adopted. Every single Luca I've ever made has been adopted. Something has always happened to their biological parents, and they always end up getting adopted by the same family. But yeah, he gets adopted after whatever happens with his parents in whatever timeline. And before he got adopted, he was always like this creepy, unadjusted child who didn't know how to socialize and was kind of like unsettling to be around or awkward. Um, yeah, and just not as cute and as endearing as he is now. So the point of Luca as well is that they're always supposed to look like cute, endearing, welcoming, warm, the type of person that you'd kind of just want to like, squish or like give a head pat or like you would want a hug from, is kind of their vibe. Before, when Luca's a child, I really like the idea of there just being like a strong contrast between like Luca now and Luca then. Um, and Luca back then was just like this thing of this, like horror movie creepy child, with like a blank stare. I don't really know, kind of just like ragged in appearance, really awkward timing and way of talking and just interacting with the world. Like I really like the idea of him, like if he had a crush or whatever, they would just give them like dead things, like dead bugs and stuff like that he thought were like cool. Um I also like the idea of, I don't know, I have an obsession with like drawing characters sleeping. Because I just think it's really nice to see them sleeping, and they just look so peaceful and cute. So I kind of gave like Luca like the same fascination where like he really enjoys like watching people sleep. So he's like the type to like stare at you in your sleep, which can be kind of unsettling. Like I think as much as I enjoy doing it, I think if somebody were to do it to me, I'd find it kind of creepy. But that's what he likes to do. Partly because he grew up in a cult. Well, it is because he grew up in a cult. Um, I don't know what it's called, but kind of their ideology slash belief, if that's like the right word. Um, or like one of the big fears of the cult is like forgetting, uh, and like, yeah, just forgetting history being erased, wiped from the conscious, like the mass conscious. I don't know, words are really hard. But that sort of thing. And because of that, I think Luca kind of has like an obsession with uh just observing the world, looking at the world and really taking everything in and remembering things like taking notes, journaling, taking photos, just any sort of thing he can keep physically to remember somebody he wants to do. Uh and I think he just wants to see people, and especially the people he cares about, in every way possible so he can just have it, you know, be in his brain forever. He wants to remember forever. He doesn't want to forget anybody. And that's one of his fears, is to like, forget. Not I don't think he has a fear of himself being forgotten. He doesn't really care all that much. But, for him to forget something that he loves and that he enjoys is scary, because he wants to remember things that he likes. That's what makes him who he is. And to him, and to me, people who are sleeping look peaceful and so at ease, usually, if they're not like having like a nightmare. So I think because Luca wants to just remember everything possible, see every version of the people he cares about, and the reason he's so invested or interested or like has these habits is because of the cult he grew up in and how it's raised to believe. Uh, Even though he doesn't really remember a lot of it because all of this happened before he turned 7, and then after he turned 7, he got adopted. But yeah, I can't wait till we move on from this drawing. This drawing was really, really rough. I had a hard time with what to draw and what to do, and I'm so glad that it's over. At least, moved from IRL. It still got quite a bit in the recording, which is fine, I guess. I know I said earlier that I really wanted to have this recording be like an hour long, because those have always been my favorite type of art videos, are just like people drawing for a really long time and just talking about really anything and everything over it. But like man, am I not a conversational. I don't know what to talk about. I mentioned Fabula Ultima, but I don't think I ever mentioned his class. So he's a weapon master. That's what he kind of started off as. If you don't know anything about Fabula Ultima, though, one of the main things about Fabula Ultima is that it is a requirement to multi-class into different things. So, while, for me, his main thing is being a weapon master, he's also an elementalist. And he's also I think guardian, is that what it's called now? Or not that that's what it's called. It's what I think that's what I remember it being called. Guardian. Uh which is his not newest level up anymore because it's been a long time. Uh but his second newest level up. My most recent level up I had with him. I think I had him take weapon master again just so he could have more accuracy. In that game, you basically roll like 2d6s most of the time, or like it's like the dice pool is like a d6, a d8, and a d10, and then a d12 sometimes. Uh, and you basically roll two of whatever dice you have, add it up, or and if you get like a 10, that's usually like, a success. And I don't like missing my attacks, so there's an ability where, if you take like a level into the skill, you get to add like a +1 +2, to your attacks, and I can take that skill up to 4 times. Right now I've taken it up 3 times. I'm trying to max it out before I go into anything else because missing really sucks, man. I don't want to do it. But my the dice he uses for his attacks, he fights with a spear. The dice he uses for his attacks is a d10, so I have the highest dice I can get if I don't, get buffed. And I'm still missing sometimes, and it's just so rough, and I just want to always hit up my attacks because I'm kind of the main damage dealer and the main tank. We do have some like other melee fighters in the group, but Luca is kind of the brunt of it, which is very different from all of my other Lucas. All of my other Lucas I've ever played are way more of a support, and Luca's not really a support, unless you count being a tank as a support. I guess it's can be considered a support, right? I don't know. I've never really played uh any like shooter games or like teamed based games besides D&D, so I don't know. But I would assume so. I mean, but then couldn't like your damage dealer also be considered a support because they're doing damage for the team? Probably not. I don't really know how that all works. But yeah, he's kind of like the main damage dealer. So because of that, I always like to hit my attacks, and I can't do that if I miss, or I can't do that, if I don't have weapon master and I don't get like my +4 for just existing and willing the weapon of my choice. But not only is it's my first time being like a weapon master. Most of the time when I play D&D, I like to play classes that give me elemental spells. I really, really love ice. I really like doing cold damage. That's so fun for me. I don't know why. It used to be fire, but I find that that's too destructive now, so I don't like it. Or it's not that I don't like it. I still like it, but like I prefer to use cold damage now, because it feels less destructive, even though that's not necessarily true. At least the fire isn't gonna spread, or with cold, it's not gonna like spread and like burn down an entire house. So yeah. But I also like having options. I don't want to just be locked into cold or locked into fire. So usually I like playing a class that gives me a lot of options. And with Elementalist, it lets me choose between like air, cold, some other elements. I've only ever used air, cold, oh, and fire, and something else, I think. But Lucas' main staple is cold, or no, actually, in this game, I'm thinking of another PC whose main staple is cold. in this game, Luca's main staple. It was air in the beginning, but then they got the dragon constellation, so now it's like fire. But yeah, so they're also an elementals on the side because I like doing elemental damage. I think it's really cool to use elements. And then Guardian, I got Guardian is because I really hate watching some other players get hurt and take damage and get low health. I'd rather it happen to me, or not necessarily rather. Okay, so when I play D&D most of the time, I'm usually always the healer. So I'm used to always being able to help in that sense. But with Luca's not a healer. I can't do any of that. So the only way I can stop other people from getting hurt is if I get hurt myself, if I jump in the way. So I'm like, I need to take Guardian so that way I can take damage from people and get hit, and I don't have to watch people get hurt, but also that way I don't need to like necessarily be a healer. When I first made Luca and I was like thinking about what they would level up into the future, I was like, oh, maybe they can go a little bit into healer, but we already have a healer, so I don't really want to like do that. And also, our healer's really good, and we haven't really got into too many battles where we needed like healing desperately. So I'm going for Guardian. But yeah, that's on Luca's class. Also, we've been on this drawing now for a while now, and it is so good. This is like my second favorite drawing. I love this drawing. Second favorite drawing is a bit incorrect. It's like my favorite drawing, but I think I've already said that about a couple of drawings. At least the skateboard drawing, this drawing, and the sleeping Luca drawing are all my favorite. I don't know at the moment which one's my favorite. If I say one of them's my favorite in the future or like in the past, what I really mean is it is a favorite of 3 because I can't choose between these 3 drawings because I think they're all really, really, really good. Also, the pizza. Luca loves pizza because I love pizza, specifically pepperoni pizza. And me specifically, pepperoni pizza from Cici's. I know some of you pizza enthusiasts might die at that, but I grew up on Cici's Pizza. I always went there as a kid, and so I just love it now because it's what I'm used to, and it's comforting and very nostalgic for me. I guess I don't know. I love what I grew up around, and that's Cici's Pizza. You know, it's been like a few days now, so I've honestly forgotten everything I've said. Uh, but the last thing I was talking about was the pizza. Uh, I've been told the pizza is not goopy enough, but it's too late to change it, to be honest. I'm still really proud of the pizza. I still think it looks delicious and very edible. But next time I will fulfill my friend's request and make the pizza extra goopy just for them. Kind of like I think Goofy's pizza is like the gif that they sent me. But I'm sure you guys like have seen like the really like cheesy cheese pizza that just is like dripping or like gooping everywhere. So that's my goal next time. Can we talk about these hands? These hands are so goddamn good. I'm so proud of them. Like his nails. His nails look beautiful. They're like so pleasing and square. And his little fingies, his fingers look cute too. I don't know. I'm pretty proud of these hands. The angle is a bit difficult, and yeah, they're like not perfect or anything, but they're really good. Uh, his clothes. I had a really hard time with his shoulder, so I think I just gave him a jacket. Did I give him a jacket? I can't remember. I don't know if he keeps just having this T-shirt. Or if I give him a jacket later. If I give him a jacket later, it's because his neck to shoulder to arm connection was really awkward, and I was like, I'm just gonna hide all my problems with a jacket. But I might have kept it as a t-shirt. I don't remember. And I'm not gonna pull up, the drawing right now to double check. Man, I can't wait. I don't think I got most of the bracelets recorded just because I was like really nervous when drawing those, and I was like, I don't want the pressure of being recorded. But it's always tough when that happens because sometimes it turns out really good. Sometimes I'm thankful for it because, it turns out really bad and it was just like a waste of like 2 hours of my life. But other times it's like, wow, this turned out really great. Too bad it's not recorded. So, it's tough. But I'm hoping as I can convince myself to record more convincingly, I won't have that happen as much, and I can just be confident that recording won't be like a waste of time, or not mind as much that I've recorded for like 4 hours and only like an hour and a half is usable, you know? I guess an hour and a half out of 4 hours maybe isn't that bad. Does that sound bad to you guys? That to me sounds like bad. I would rather, like 3 hours be usable than just like an hour and a half. I don't know. Recording's hard, man. I'm always sad when my favorite artists don't upload more. Like I just want to see their art, and I want to see them draw, and I want to hear them talk if they do voiceovers. But now that I'm trying to make my own videos, I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. I guess I get it now, because this is tough. Of course, there are harder things out there, but if this is something you're just doing for fun, or you're just doing it as a hobby, then I get not posting more frequently. I mean, even as like a job, but I don't know, it's tough. It's just tough. And I understand why they don't post as often as I would like, because I'm currently struggling just to make this. And I'm not even doing this, I'm not even trying to make it like super, super good and super polished or anything. I'm just like yapping to my mic while watching the video back with you guys. I'm not doing any like fancy editing or anything. And I'm just like, man, this is still tough. It's rough out here. I'm really happy with this like checkered pattern sort of thing by the end of it, and then when I start adding bracelets, I think I'm gonna start doing it now. But I really didn't know what to add for like bracelets, because it's tough, because like sometimes I'll like see a really cool bracelet on Pinterest, and I'm like, I don't know if I can draw it, because sometimes they just have like really small details, and it's kind of hard when adding a lot of details to something really tiny. I feel like kind of like it just looks out of place when I draw it with the rest of my art, like having like a super detailed bracelet with all of these like little varying side speeds and etchings and designs on them, I feel like would just look out of place. So it's tough trying to find a balance between bracelets I think look really cool and unique and all don't look the same, and ones that aren't like so detailed that they just look wrong when I draw them. I think I just have to get better at finding ways to like simplify more intricate designs, and I'm not really there yet. I don't really know what this is, but I like the little diamondy shapes. Like, I couldn't tell you what bracelet this is supposed to represent, but it looks cool, doesn't it? At least I think so. I've pulled up the art, and I do change it into a jacket. Spoilers. But I don't, man, there's only a couple minutes left, and I'm fighting for my life. But I remembered that my GM had me well, it wasn't like a requirement, but it was like a hey, fun thing you can do. Uh was fill out a Google Doc, and at the very bottom of the at the Google Doc was a bonus info get to know me for the RPCs, and I thought I could read that out to you guys. But the first one was what motivates them, what motivates Luca, and I put being worth the trouble slash inconvenience and loved ones. So I think Luca has a little bit of some self-worth issues where they're like, I'm trash, or I'm not that good, or like I used to not be that way. Like I'm better now, but he never wants to be seen as like a bad kid ever again, or like, just like a handful. Cause then he's afraid of like not being like, if he's like that he's like not worth being loved or taken care of or cared for, or whatever, not worth anyone's time. And he doesn't want that. So he's always trying to prove himself. Because he believes that love should be unconditional, but doesn't necessarily think that that applies to him. That makes sense. What is a flaw of theirs? I think Luca is short-tempered with people he doesn't already like, or so I think like if he's like neutral to somebody or really like someone, he's best. He'll always act friendly with somebody, but like the moment he kind of doesn't like them, it's like it's really tough for him to be nice. He just kind of like ignores them. Or no, like when he doesn't like you, it's like suddenly his patience is down the drain. Which I feel like is maybe for most people, I feel like that's normal. I don't think that's that much of that big of a flaw, but I do think he's a little bit short tempered with people he doesn't like compared to when he likes people or when he's neutral about people. He'll, there's almost nothing you can do to make him mad. You know, he's just like, oh, you're good, you're fine. This is just these are all normal mistakes. But like if he doesn't like you, then suddenly all these things that you'd see as benign for other people are like a big deal. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Another flaw is actively avoids feeling sad. I think this man is in denial. He would rather repress all of his sad feelings, all his sad thoughts, angry, bad, anything negative, remotely negative, he refuses to feel. He only ever wants to feel happy and positive and like this ray of sunshine because nobody wants to be around a negative Debbie Downer, I guess. Yeah, he just thinks if, he ever like complained or like uh, was overly negative, he'd just feel like people would avoid him because who wants to be around somebody who's such a buzzkill and no fun? Yeah, in his eyes. Uh, I also put another flaw of him having low insight. So in game, the smallest dice size you can have is a d6, and his insight is a d6. So I put that as a flaw for the lulz. He does have imposter syndrome, but like I don't really know how to explain it. Like he is good. He is good at combat and all of these things. He is talented and he does work hard, but he feels like he doesn't deserve any of the opportunities and privileges that he has. Uh you know, he thinks they all should go to somebody else, and that he isn't worthy of any of them. Like the school that he's into right now, he's only in because he got a blessing from the constellation. It's not like he applied and got accepted through like the normal means. It was literally just because he got a blessing from God. But like, I mean, being chosen by the goddess, I guess, is a valid way to get somewhere. I don't know. That means that there has to be something special about him, but he doesn't necessarily see it that way. Uh, what are they most afraid of? Luca's the most afraid of being alone. He also doesn't want to be a convenience, but his biggest win is that he doesn't want to be alone. And a little bonus fun fact here is lightning and thunderstorms, because I'm a little afraid of thunderstorms, just a little. What do they love most? Their adoptive parents and pizza. Also, this drawing right here, super darn cute. What do they do for fun / what are their hobbies? So Luca likes to play video games. He likes working out. He is a gym buff, a gym bro? Something along those lines, probably. He likes baking. He likes photography. He likes competitive sports. Specifically soccer / football, because that's what I know the most about. Because I played soccer for a long time. Not American football. When I say football, I mean like the rest of the world football. He also likes sewing and patchwork because he's broke and he needs to take care of his clothing. But he also just likes to add little cute little embroidery patches on his clothes because they're cute. He also likes collecting cute things because he's a cute boy. And he pet peeves being told that they aren't trying hard enough. Luca tries insanely hard in everything he does because he wants to be seen as good and he wants to be praised. He doesn't want anybody to think less of him, and he doesn't want to disappoint anybody, especially if it's like somebody entrusted him to do a task or a role that means a lot to him. So when somebody is like, hey, you're not doing enough, you're not trying enough, it's one thing to be like, hey, you're not doing a good job at this, but to say that he isn't trying at all is kind of crazy to him, and he does not like that one bit. You know, it's fine to just say he's bad or trash or whatever, but don't say that he's not trying, because he is really trying really hard, man. That's so rude. People who cheat during low stakes. Like, if you cheat in, like, a casual video game between friends, it's like, what the fuck, man? You didn't need to do that. Like, that's so rude. Like, it's not even, like, he'll understand if it's, like, a life or death situation, or, like, you know, there's a lot on the line. Like, he's a little bit empathetic if, you know, people cheat to get into, like, college or whatever, or, like, they're in debt and they really need this win or something. Then he's like, fine, alright, you know what? Valid reason. It's tough out here. But if it's, like, you're cheating at, I don't know, Monopoly somehow. Can you cheat in Monopoly? Probably. He'd just be like, what the hell, man? How could you do that? Like, that's so lame. Is his opinion. What is their favorite color, food, season, or animal? I think Luca's favorite color is pink. And if not pink, like baby blue. Uh, all colors are cute though. They like all colors. You know, they're not too picky, especially if it's like a bright color. Any like dark and moody colors are not something he'd personally wear usually, but he does think that they would look good, really good on other people. Uh, he likes pizza. He likes spring. Yeah, I think he'd also like fall. But like spring and fall are probably be his favorite seasons. He also likes dragonflies and damselflies. This is because I like dragonflies and damselflies, and because the first iteration of Luca had the damselfly quirk for my MHA game. And yeah, so it's just a callback to that. And the reason I love dragonflies slash damselflies is because of Luca. When I decided what their quirk would be for that game and I did some more research, I was like, actually, these little bugger dudes are really cool. He also likes fluffy cats. The fluffy cat that he's sleeping with, I actually think is named Patches. That is all that was in this Google Doc. Well, besides like backstory and height and age and appearance and ideas for things. But I'm not going to read all of that out because it is too long. This bracelet, I really am actually finding to like. I was scared to draw these bracelets and arm cuffs. I don't know what like his arm cuff is called, the one with like the checkered pattern. Is it like an arm warmer? I imagine it's like a leg warmer, but it's just on his wrists instead. It's really, really cute. I really love this. I don't know what this would be called, but I guess a little heart logo that's like on it is really cute. I imagine Luca is like an avid like bracelet charm interesting things to put around my arms collector. And it's as nervous as I was to draw these sorts of things, I actually think it turned out really well and is really cute and one of my favorite things to look at on the entire drawing. The bunny that he's cuddling with is actually a bunny that I stole from like a previous drawing that I did, and some more sleeping ship art that I did that I don't know if I will ever show on this, maybe one day. That I did for there was ship art for my PCs, or for one of my PCs, in a Ex-Marines One Piece game. I'm in a lot of One Piece games. You guys don't know this yet, I think, but I'm in a lot of One Piece games. My next video is probably going to be on one of my newer PCs or one of my current PCs. One of the two. I guess those are the only two options. I guess I don't really have any past PCs. Anyways, besides the point, what else did I want to talk about? I don't know. You guys are about to see like the full drawing here, and I hope you guys spend some time looking at it because I worked really, really, really hard on everything here. I am going to plug my social media, and by my social media, I mean my Patreon and my Kara, because those will be the two places I will be posting if you want to look at my art besides when I post YouTube videos, because who knows when I will ever post those. My Patreon is free, so you can become a free member, and then you'll be able to see all of my cute art. I'm just posting it there because I'm not really a big fan. I love Twitter. I adore Twitter. I adore Twitter because of the artists on there, and I will be there every day looking at all the new art that all of my favorite artists post. But for myself and posting my own art, I will not be using Twitter, Instagram, or anything like that. I will just be using Patreon and Carrot because those just feel more cozier, smaller, safer for me to post my art. So if you'd like to find me, that is where you'll find me, and I will link it in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day, good night, good whatever. Bye!